Hi, a big welcome to all of you who have taken the time to join us today, and a big thank you to you, Lara, for being so brave and sharing your journey and learnings with us. When I first met Lara, before COVID, our plan around sharing a story definitely didn't include a virtual session. However, this is one example of the challenges we as South Africans and the world have learned to overcome, the distance between us, and illustrates that in every negative situation, one can find a positive. This one being that we would never have been able to reach as many people and as far as we're reaching today if we had hosted this session within a venue, because only those people that could actually arrive at the venue would actually be able to hear the story Lara is going to share with us. But now, as we embrace technology, we can reach people even overseas. With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we set about preparing a session to raise awareness about breast cancer. But as we went through and discussed the various aspects or the message we wanted to share, it became evident that the lessons Lara learned through her cancer journey were lessons and skills that increased her resilience when dealing with the challenges we all had to deal with during COVID-19 lockdown. These lessons included the shock when we realized or received the news, and specifically when the lockdown was extended, dealing with isolation, learning how to accept and ask for help, and finding balance. Many of us becoming teachers overnight, whilst we still had to continue fulfilling our other responsibilities. And for this reason, we believe that Lara's story is not only going to assist those individuals who have personally been diagnosed and lived with cancer, or had somebody they loved diagnosed and is still living with cancer, but will be valuable and inspirational to all of us as we navigate our journey through life. As the saying goes, the only constant in life is change. So how do we ensure that we develop the skills that allow us to respond and be resilient to change and the obstacles that life throws at us? Before I give away too much about what Lara is going to say, I would like to introduce Lara. Lara is a wife and mother to 3 children, who at the age of 37 was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. As you listen to Lara today, it will become extremely evident that Lara did not allow breast cancer to define her, but is a true survivor. Thanks again, Lara, for joining us, and I will now hand over to you. Welcome, Lara.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Charleen. I'd like to say thank you to the whole team. So Charleen and Genevieve and Zanele from the healthcare team, and Terry and Mpumi from the marketing team. Thank you for this opportunity to share my story with everyone. So like Charleen says, basically I was a normal mom of 3. I'm a beauty therapist, and life was, normal. Well, normal, whatever normal is. And so 5 years ago, I went to my gynecologist for a normal routine checkup. And basically my pap smear results came back with irregular cells. So at the time, they said, don't worry, just come back 3 to 6 months later. So, I mean, it often happens that people have irregular cells that come up, which is why I was at the gynae May 4 years ago. So it was 6 months after the time before. And I remember at the time thinking, I didn't have time for this appointment. I would have rather gone and done my hair or something. I remember my hairdresser was going on holiday. Anyway, but I thought, no, I better go. Something inside of me said, no, go. And while I was there, my gynecologist thought, well, it was ready to redo the pap smear, but he may as well check my breast while I'm there. And he found a lump, the size of a golf ball lump in my left breast. So he said, calmly, go for a mammogram. So I remember it being a Monday and walking up and down the shopping aisles. I always go to the shops on a Monday and thinking, oh gosh, I don't know. Then my mom phoned me and I started crying and I said to her, I don't know, the gynecologist found a lump And she said, no, there's no cancer in the family. It's fine, don't worry. So I tried to get an appointment for a mammogram, which they got me like 2 weeks later. And I thought, there's no way I can wait 2 weeks. So again, it's not what you know till you know. And I managed to get an appointment for the next day to go for a mammogram, which they did. And they said, no, they've got to do a biopsy. Straight away, they could see it wasn't good. I mean, it was cancer. But as these things, it takes time to get the results. But in the meantime, I remember saying to the lady, like, what must I do? She said, find a surgeon. I thought, okay, fine. So I was seeing clients, and of course I was in a state, so I was crying. And the one client got me an appointment with a surgeon, another client got me an appointment with another surgeon. So I went to see the one surgeon. And at this stage, we didn't have the test results. So basically she said, look, it's a slow-growing tumor. That's what she knows. It's been growing for years. It will be fine, basically. Then the Friday morning, I went to see another surgeon who was ready to do a double mastectomy. And I just thought, oh, no, that's too much for me. I can't. Which is something I just want to say. You don't have to go with the first surgeon or the first doctor that you see. It is okay to do your homework, and you've got to feel comfortable with your doctors. That's really important. So right now I wasn't feeling comfortable with anything or anyone, I must be honest. The first surgeon I saw that told me that the tumor was slow growing did say she wanted to see my kids and explain to my kids in kiddies terms what was going on. So that I thought, okay, that's going to be quite helpful. So basically, went from the surgeon who was ready to cut off my breast, and I just thought, nah, can't do this, and went to my son's karate competition, which he had at the time. And the good news of him getting his SA colours at the time was just so welcomed. It was just so nice to have something nice. And anyone who knows me knows that I love Starbucks. So of course, when my son got his SA colours, I thought, no, let's go celebrate, and we were going to go to Starbucks, of course. And the reason I'm telling you this is because 2 weeks before that, I was sitting at Starbucks on Mother's Day. And like I say, happy, carefree, not a care in the world. I didn't know I had this tumor in my breast. And when I was sitting at Starbucks after my son's karate competition, I thought to myself, the only difference between the two visits is, now I know I've got a lump in my breast. So really then I was thinking, no, I can do this. It's a lump. It's like the rest of me is fine, but it's like it's a lump, the size of a golf ball. So surely we can tackle this. So that was where I was at then. Then we took my children to see the other surgeon and explained to my children that mommy's got a germ in her boob and it needs to be taken out, and she's going to have some treatment and some operations, but she's going to be fine. Sitting there with my children and trying to, not cry in front of my kids was hard, but I contained myself. Then we came out of the consulting room, and they said, no, they need to see if the cancer has spread to my lymph nodes. So before I knew it, they were saying, fill out the admission form and fill out the form and this and that. And I thought, oh my God, I've never had, I think I had my wisdom teeth removed when I was 16 years old. Like, I don't do operations. I don't get sick. I was hysterical. I said to my husband, get the kids out of here. So he took them downstairs to the coffee shop. Oh, and the kids were sitting there sipping their hot chocolate, and he was thinking, God, I'm going to be a single father. I was trying to sort out the procedure to get my lymph nodes taken out to check if the cancer had spread. Anyway, we managed, got myself sorted, and was ready to go into the procedure to see. And I was trying so hard to be positive, to tell myself, I don't think it's spread. But anyway, we had to go back to the doctor to hear that the cancer had spread. A week later, we got the results from the lymph nodes. It had spread into my lymph nodes. And I was going to have chemotherapy. Once I'd heard that the cancer had spread into my lymph nodes, I thought, that is it, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm not going to see my children grow up. My kids are not going to have a mother, basically. And then the surgeon that I wasn't mad about at the beginning, like shouted at me because I hadn't read the notes she had given me. So I was in a state. And my husband, I mean, he was also like, we were devastated and we didn't know what to do. So I phoned a friend of mine who's a physiotherapist. And I said to her, I'm going to die. And she said, no, you're not. She said, no, I'm coming over and we're going to go through your diagnosis. So she came over and we went through my pages and pages of histology because I then read all the results. And she said to me, yeah, you're going to have chemotherapy. But yeah, okay, so you'll lose your hair and you're going to be fine. So again, I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to be fine. Next thing, my friend was organizing WhatsApp groups and who's making a meal and who's doing this and who's doing that. So yeah, another piece of advice, when you go, if anyone is in a situation where you have to go get news, don't go on your own. Go with someone who can actually also hear what's going on, because you cannot think straight when you're thrown with all this information. And reach out to people and talk to people and let them help you, because like you're not on your own and it's not a journey you want to go through on your own. So I was like so grateful for the fact that this friend of mine came over and explained everything to me. So then I was referred to an oncologist who I liked. She then sent me for a bone scan to check if the cancer had spread to my bones, which thank God it hadn't, and a CT scan to see if it had spread to my lungs and my liver, which thank God it hadn't. So already then I was like, okay, we're good to go. Chemotherapy, fine. But I did have to find a surgeon. So I spoke to my GP, who referred me to a surgeon, who also said to him, I said, how am I going to get into the surgeon? He said, all right, I'll get you in. And he got me in and I went to see the surgeon and I was like, I like him. So then I thought, okay, I've got my team. I've got my oncologist, I've got my surgeon. And again, it also made me feel like I can tackle this. Very important to have your team. You've got to feel comfortable with your doctors, 100% comfortable. And you've got to 10 doctors until you find your doctor that you're happy with, okay? Anyway, I was happy with my doctors, had my team, and I was ready to go. So what was the next obstacle that we had to tackle? My hair. So people didn't know me by my name. They knew me as the girl with the long strawberry blonde hair. I'd had long hair my whole life. So yeah, losing my hair was daunting. So a friend of mine also took me to go see a lady. You find someone who makes wigs out of your own hair. So I had to cut my hair into a bar, and they took my hair. I mean, my hair was long, down to my waist. They took my hair, and I was getting a wig made. And then I started with my chemotherapy. And there was a part of me that thought, nah, I'm special. I'm not going to lose my hair. It's not going to happen to me. I remember dropping the kids at school and sitting having coffee with a friend and running my hand through my hair, like, as we do. And there were strands of hair in my hand. And I thought, oh, God, here we go. Nah, I'm going to lose my hair. So I thought, okay. So everyone said to me, shave your head. But, I just thought, no, maybe it won't be that bad. Like, I'll lose my hair, but maybe it won't be so bad. I thought, no, I've got to get to terms with this wearing a wig. I don't know. So I went to have my hair cut, like boy style cut. And then I got my wig. I thought, oh my God, like, how am I going to put this thing on my head? So my sister took me to a friend of hers who is a religious girl, and she blow dries wigs for a living. And she was trying to show me how to put this thing on. I mean, you don't understand. You're going like, put your head forward, put it on, clip, a headband, a whole spiel. Anyway, my little girl, who was 5 at the time, was crying. She's walking up and down the passage, crying hysterically, saying, I don't want to see mommy's bald head. She didn't want to see my bald head. It's like, oh, God. Anyway. I actually spoke to someone yesterday, and it was like so ironic that I spoke to yesterday and I was doing my talk today. And she was actually just talking about what happens when you go through a trauma, and you try to find something to like hang on to. So it's either like, oh my God, I've got to eat healthy, or oh no, I've got to lose weight, or I need to protect my children. Mine was, I've got to protect my children. This is like, I've got to protect my children. So anytime anything affected my children, I was devastated. Anyway, we went on holiday to the Kruger Park because it was my children's school holidays. And at this stage, I mean, my hair was falling out in chunks. I mean, you know, you don't understand how many layers and layers of hair you have on your head. So it then falls out layer after layer after layer. So it takes a while. You know, my daughter, so at the time, a lot of moms were being diagnosed actually with breast cancer. And the principal of the school said that the kids can get pink hair strips put into their hair, and whatever it costs, the money would go to, you know, raising funds for cancer patients. So while we were away, my husband and his friends were organizing, they're all going to shave their heads. We're going to have a shave-a-thon when we get back. And a friend of mine messaged me and she said, I love you dearly, but I'm not shaving my head. But what I will do is I'll get the hair strips put in, but there's different colors to choose. You can choose pink, you can choose green, turquoise. So she sent me all the colors. She said, choose 3 colors. I'm going to put the colors in. So my little girl standing next to me, and she saw this, and she said, oh, Mommy, I see that, you know, a lot of, you know, kids are putting hair strips in their hair for cancer awareness. So up to now, my kids knew Mommy had a germ in her boob. And I remember a friend of mine saying to me, you've got to say the word cancer to your children. They've got to hear it from you. And I remember thinking, oh, easy coming from you. Like, I'm going to tell my kids I've got cancer. Like, how am I going to do that? Anyway, when my daughter said, you know, other girls are putting hair strips in their hair for cancer, I thought, oh God, this is my time, this is my opportunity to say the word, the cancer word. So I said to my daughter, I said, Mommy's got cancer. So she started crying and she ran away from me and she said, oh, no. She said, I don't want to catch it. So I was, of course, devastated. Oh, and we were staying in an upstairs, downstairs chalet. She'd been running up the stairs. My husband been running after her. And I remember sitting crying on the steps and thinking, oh my God, this is like the end of my world. But I had to be strong and I had to do this and I had to be okay for my children. Anyway, we came back from our holiday and I said to my husband, just shave my head, You know, when your hair falls out, it is sore and itchy and it's horrible. And look, there wasn't much left by that stage. But I said to him, just shave my head. So he did. And I decided this is me. This is a new start. This is a new beginning. I saw my bald head as a fact of, I'm a newborn baby. This is like a new start for me. I've got to heal myself on every level. So I've got to heal myself on a physical level, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I've got to sort myself out. Because deep down in my heart, I knew I was a people pleaser. And I couldn't say no to anyone. And I was running around and things had to break to go back together again. And this was my breaking point. And I said to myself, this is your time, sort yourself out. That I even gave up my beauty work. I gave up being a beauty therapist for a year. So I wanted to use the time and the energy to really heal and sort myself out. So how did I heal? Let's go through how I healed. So on a physical level, yes, I listened to my doctors. I found my team of doctors. I listened to everything they said. I had chemotherapy for 6 months. I then had a double mastectomy. I thought, I'm not letting cancer ever appear in my body again. So at the age of 38, I decided double mastectomy, not taking one breast off, taking both, that's it. And then I even went further as far as having a hysterectomy. So what happens is when you are very young and your body is pushed into menopause, because the chemotherapy and the tamoxifen, which is the drug I'm on, was and am on, pushes your body into menopause because my cancer was hormone-based. So I needed to take the tamoxifen, which is a hormone blocker, and I was in menopause, basically. But when you're very young, your body fights it. And basically, my body came out of menopause. So then I had to get this Zoladex injection, which is injecting a capsule into my stomach, which at the time I had to get authorization from the medical aid, and I thought, it's fine, it's a once-off injection. Until I realized, no, it's not a once-off. I would have to do this every 3 months. I was like, oh, no, okay, I don't know if this is for me. I then also was going to the gynae every 3 months because a side effect of the tamoxifen is that the uterine lining can thicken. And mine was thickening. So I thought, no, I can't live like this. I can't go from one doctor's appointment to another every few months. This is just too much. I said, no. At the age of 39, I had a full hysterectomy. And let me tell you, it was the best thing I ever did. It was like this black cloud was lifted. And I felt like a new person. And again, another layer. You know, when you're healing, it's like you are like an onion. It's layer after layer after layer. So every time you have a wow moment, it's just another layer of the onion being peeled. So after my hysterectomy, I was like, I'm good to go. Me and my friends, we went on a special girls trip that we were planning years back before I was diagnosed. Anyway, we ended up going on a girls trip to Italy, and yeah, it was great and wonderful. So that was my physical healing. And then what about the rest of me? Because remember I said I'm healing on every level. So there's the physical, which I've now spoken about. Then there's the emotional, mental, spiritual healing. So I started also seeing a healer at the same time because I started having chemotherapy. Started seeing my spiritual healer. And I said, I'm going to come once a week. In fact, sometimes it was twice a week. I had those days I woke up and I thought, I could get my kids to school, drop them off, and I can have my breakdown. And my healer became my person, my friend, my psychologist, my absolute person that I could just sit and cry and do whatever I had to do. Sometimes I saw her twice a week. And I remember sitting in her office and right at the beginning, and she said to me, one day you're going to look back at all of this and you're going to see what a blessing this has been. And I remember thinking, oi, nah, I don't know about that. Anyway, so how did I heal? I also decided, okay, my spiritual healing, emotional, mental, got to go back to basics. Actually got to just go back to basics. My going back to basics was, what was the first thing we all need to feel? And that was gratitude. In order to move forward and heal, you have to be in the moment and see where you're at and actually have gratitude and feel grateful for everything you do have. So I spent a lot of time feeling grateful for everything. I also learned, and my famous saying, which I love, energy flows where attention goes. And every time I had a negative thought in my head, I thought to myself, I've got to change it into a positive thought. And I'd spend days and days and hours sitting and reaffirming positive thoughts to myself until eventually I believed them to be true. I could not think any negative thoughts at all. I learned to have boundaries. I learned to say no to people, which is huge for a people pleaser like me, to actually have boundaries and say no to certain things. Doesn't come overnight, let me tell you. It's a process. It really is a process. But I've become very good at it, let me tell you. I've become very good at saying no. If something doesn't suit me, I just say no. And actually, sometimes I have a relapse and I don't, and then afterwards I think to myself, oh, why did I agree to something? But you know what, I've also learned it's okay to then go back and say, actually, you know what, I've thought about it and no, it doesn't suit me, I'm not doing it. Which takes me to another point. I've actually had to realize I had to stop pleasing the world around me. I actually had to realize I actually got to please myself. You know, when you stand up for yourself, people have more respect for you And that's something I also learned over time. When you stand up for yourself, people respect you more. And the things that they would ask you before, they will think twice before they ask you that again. So like people also, they feel your energy and they take a step back also. And they think before they just come to Lara, who's going to agree and do it and say yes. And they find the other person, they find someone else, basically, which is good. And I was very aware, and I made sure that I was never a victim to my situation. I never blamed anything on the fact that I had cancer. My children did not miss a dance class, a party, a karate competition, whatever. I made sure that my children, their life did not change. We actually downplayed it so much to the point that, I mean, still things come up. And my son even said to me the other day, I don't know what came up, and he said, he actually didn't realize like what I was going through. And I said, Mark, I didn't want him to. I didn't want my kids to be traumatized. Also didn't want to deal with like damage control afterwards. Like you go through your journey and then you've got to deal with everything that's, coming up. So I thought, no, step by step, we'll go through everything and deal with things as they come and tackle things. But yeah, the fact that I had cancer was never an excuse for anything. And trying to think, I think that is basically, all my healing in a nutshell. I mean, there is more, which I'm going to touch on, but I just want to say I learned so much from Bev Kaplan, my healer. And if anyone wants any numbers or any info or anything, just go onto my website afterwards and phone me or message me or whatever. But I will pass on all the info, right? With pleasure. But yes, Bev Kaplan, my healer, taught me so much that I actually landed up writing a book called Losing My Hair. Never thought in my life I'd write a book. But again, it was another layer of healing. It was so therapeutic to get it all out. And I learned, I know it also gets me going, and that's helping other people and sharing the info. Like a lot of people they keep things to themselves and they don't talk about it. I'm like, share the information. Like I don't see the point of not, sharing info, because you know what? If anyone who's even on this talk learns one thing, there is one thing more than you knew. That's what you've got to tell yourself. If someone has one thing that you've said, you've helped them. So I'm very big on sharing the info. So yes, I wrote a book on all my healing. Anyway, last but not least, I also did TRE, which is trauma release exercises. Okay, so what TRE is a technique that you actually learn to do yourself. You go once a week for 6 weeks and you do a set of exercises and you actually then lie down and tremor. So if you think about it, when you go through a trauma, any trauma, when I say any trauma, sitting in traffic, being late for work, having a fight with someone, it's trauma. And if you don't release the trauma, it sits in the body and manifests. So think about where does it all go? We all internalize everything. It's like if someone's in an accident and after the accident they're shaking, then people give them sugar water and cover them with a blanket and say, no, don't shake. The person has to shake to release the trauma of what they've just been through. If you do not release things, they sit in the body and manifest. In cancer or anything else, any illness or ailment that people have, it's trauma sitting in the body that has manifested into something. So yeah, TRE also again took my healing to another level of standing up for myself, putting myself first, just releasing everything. So what I loved about the TRE is that I say you go once a week for 6 weeks, and then it's a tool that you've learned and you've got. I can lie down and tremor now anytime. In fact, I think I actually should do it. I think it's time. I haven't done it for a while. So that was my TRE. Again, I'm happy to pass on the info. That was not Bev, who I went through for TRE. It was another lady, Jenny Fortiers. Again, happy to share the info. If anyone wants to do TRE, happy to pass on the phone number. So yeah, basically, and that then leads me to the trauma that the whole entire world has faced, the coronavirus. You know, when we're hit with corona, I know that I would not have dealt with this the way I did if I had not been through my trauma and my healing that I've been through. I just think, yeah, I handled COVID very well. And I'm not taking away from the fact that some people have lost loved ones due to COVID, and a lot of our lives have changed. And it's been hard, and we've all missed out on things and lost a lot, and there are damaging effects. But again, what if we all had to shift our thinking and think about what we've gained from COVID? There's a lot that, even if every person thinks of one thing that they've gained something from COVID. So like when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, how would I have made changes in my life? I wouldn't have made changes. I knew deep down in my heart and in my soul, I had to make changes. But if I didn't have something big like breast cancer, I wouldn't have made the changes. You know, you can't wake up one morning and say, yeah, I'm going to change who I am. It doesn't work like that. And secondly, when you decide to work on yourself, and sorry, I just thought to put up a question, but I'll get to questions just now. When you decide to work on yourself, the universe wants to see how serious you are. So what does the universe do? They say, oh, okay, you're working on yourself. Okay. And then you know what they do? They throw a curveball your way, just to see how serious you are. And that's the time when people say, oh, no, you see, too difficult. Told you, not going to work. People don't make changes, and they don't work on themselves. And that's okay, because you know what? We're all on our own journey. You're either going to make changes or not. Some people are not going to. Some people will pretend that COVID didn't exist and never happened. But that's fine. That's their journey. Like for me personally, I can't pretend that breast cancer never happened for me. And I can't pretend COVID never happened, because it has happened. And you've got to learn, you know, from situations. I remember when COVID came about, and I remember listening to Robin Banks talk, and he said, ask yourself this question. You want to look back in 5 years' time and say, what did you do with this time you had? Did you fix anything? Did you reevaluate your life? Did you make any changes? So that also, I thought, sure. So if I have to, on a personal note, talk about my changes that I've made, I can list a few huge positives that have affected, in a good way, me and my family. I started a brand new business in COVID. So when everyone was turning to Zoom, I thought, well, I'm a beauty therapist. I cannot do a pedicure or leg wax over Zoom. Like, this Zoom thing is not going to work for me. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I thought, all right, I've got to stick with it for a while, which I did. And basically, my new business is I'm now a wellness coach, and I'm coaching fortunes of people through an amazing lifestyle change, the eating plan lifestyle change. So to explain that, basically, from being in menopause at the age of 39, you realize you can't just eat what you want and the scale's not going to go up. It's like you realize every single thing you put in your mouth counts, and the scale was just going up and up and up. So I always ate healthy. So I didn't think when I was diagnosed with cancer, I'm not going to change my life, I've got to change my lifestyle, I've got to eat healthy. I did eat healthy. Well, I did have changed my lifestyle in other ways, but my eating wasn't bad. But the scale was going up, and the weight was packing on. And I thought, oh yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. So it was last year, at the time of my book launch, actually, someone who came to my book launch, got chatting and met afterwards. It's nearly a year ago, actually. I remember I started my eating plan, my personal eating plan that I did. It was the 5th of November, so it's nearly a year ago that I started. And I lost 6 kilograms. I think at the time, no one was really commenting on the fact that I had lost 6 kilograms. And I thought, no one's even said anything. But also, it was over the December holidays. I was away. got back from holidays, children started having arrangements, seeing friends, then people started, oh my gosh, you've lost weight, what have you done? So I thought, okay, people are noticing. Anyway, my husband ate so badly after December. I said, no, I'm taking him through the eating plan. So I did. And I lost another 6 kilograms. So now people were saying to me, oh my God, Laura, please share the info. I was like giving a bit of tips here and there, saying maybe do this, maybe do that. But then during COVID, I decided I've got to stick to my eating. I'm not putting on weight. I've got to stick to my healthy eating. This is a lifestyle. Don't lose focus, don't lose track, just stick to it, which I did. Another part of the eating plan, healthy lifestyle, is that you've got to do 10,000 steps per day. So literally wearing a Fitbit and doing 10,000 steps per day, plus at least 10,000 steps per day. And I just couldn't sit down during COVID. I just thought, no, I've got to keep going, I've got to keep going. So I was doing 20,000 steps a day. And I think I dropped another kilo or 2, even in that time, the stress of COVID. And I was on the phone to a friend. I was walking around my pool, walking around my garden, walking COVID, lockdown level 5. I did not leave my house. I was walking everywhere. And a friend of mine said, oh, no, I've got to do this eating plan of yours. Please give me the number of the lady that helped you. So I thought, hang on. No, I can do this. I said, no, I'm going to take you through the eating plan. So I found the lady who took me through. I said, can I do this? Could this be a business opportunity for me? Because this is something I can do over the phone, over Zoom, get an activation code for people to activate on their phone. They've got the plan, and the products get delivered to their house. I can do this and not see anyone. I've joined the Zoom world. Everyone was Zooming. Well, so can I. So I started my new business during COVID. And like I said to people, I didn't plan it. I really didn't plan it. But you know what? I also relate the eating plan to my cancer, to COVID, but going back to basics. So when people phone me all flustered, what's this plan? Let me hear more about it. I'm like, nothing fancy, calm down, relax, go back a few steps, back to basics, 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 basics. I'm not saying go to the gym and do hectic workout and kill yourself. Walk. What's walking? Walking is a form of exercise. That's back to basics. And the eating and all of that. So that was a huge plus that I can say I started a business in COVID. So really happy. And I'm sharing the info and I'm helping people. They're loving their life. They're thriving. They're not starving. And they're losing weight. So they're happy. And I'm helping. So it's a win-win for everyone. The world has become a lot smaller. We have all realized that we can work from wherever we are at any time. You don't have to be in the office. You don't have to be in that country for that matter. The world is small. We can all work from wherever we are, which I think is, a huge positive. Technology has taken over. The schooling system has changed. The schooling system has had to change for years. It is archaic. The way the kids are taught, the testing system, boxing kids, putting them in the boxes it's like it doesn't work anymore. I, for one, am happy to share that my son is going to be doing not homeschooling, because let me tell you, I'm not doing it away. Online schooling, and is going to be doing the UK system. So he's literally going to have his computer and an examination pad and a pen. I hope he makes notes, let me tell you. But things have changed. It's like you've got to keep up with technology, keep up with the world. And again, now he's back at school. And I remember that there was a meeting and they said, no more online. I'm like, okay, let's pretend COVID never happened. Fine, you can pretend COVID never happened. But for me, COVID has happened. My son will no longer be going to that school. He will be doing online and doing the UK system. So I love that change. And extramurals, gosh, I used to run around from extramural to extramural. You have no idea. My kids didn't even want to go to the extramurals. But I was taking them from extramural to extramural, and they were moaning and complaining. Now I'm like, that's it. No more. The boxing teacher comes to my house once a week, and all three of my kids have boxing. My little girl does piano over WhatsApp call. But yesterday, we had load shedding, so she's got to go back on today. Okay, so things happen, but you know what? We can make it up. She'll have a piano lesson today. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. It's boiling hot outside. I'm not sitting in traffic. She'll have a piano lesson over WhatsApp call. And all the other extramurals that my kids were doing, I'm taking my daughter to art lessons and saying, no, do the art because you're arty. She now sits on her iPad and draws and does whatever. Again, technology, things have changed. So she's doing her art, but she's sitting in a room or outside, getting fresh air on the trampoline, doing her art. And another big one that I have to share is that this year was my son's bar mitzvah over Zoom. So when a boy is born in the Jewish religion, you take note of the date. And from the day he is born, you work out, okay, let's work out when his bar mitzvah is going to be. I knew the date of my son's bar mitzvah from the day he was born, 8th of August, 2020. Anyway, it is a day that you want to share with all your friends and your family. This is a huge milestone. And the thought of not sharing it with my friends and family, that's my day also that was taken away. I really felt like upset about it. Anyway, what was everyone doing? Zoom bar mitzvah. So I thought, okay, we're going to have to do a Zoom bar mitzvah. So I remember at the time, like someone said to me, the Zoom bar is so stunning. And I remember thinking, whatever, it's not. But anyway, what choice do I have? I'm going to have to do it. Anyway, my A-type personality, the way I am, I thought, well, I'm still going to do everything I was going to do. And I still got the cake, and I still got the balloons, and I still had the yarmulkes made, and I got sanitizer with the stickers and his name, and every single thing I was going to do, I still did. And we had a Zoom bar mitzvah. And let me tell you, it was so special. It was the most special moment. It was amazing. Because you know what? It was all about my son. It was back to basics. It was what it's always meant to be about. Him. Not the food, not what we were all wearing, not the outfits, not does this one talk to that one and then this one's going to talk behind this one's back, and again, worrying about other people. It wasn't about that. Have you ever felt someone's energy through a computer screen? Because I know on that day, you could feel the energy through the screen. It was so special. And of course, I organized a huge lunch and that because it's all about the food. But that day was about him. And it was, I could never ask for a more special moment and a more special day. It was amazing. So those are a few facts of how COVID has impacted and changed my life and my family's life. And I think only for the better. So yes, life is hard and it has its challenges, but it's changing all the time. And like I say, what's my other saying that I love? And I've got such a stunning story to share about it. What you persist, resists. Oh, no. What you resist, persists. What you resist, persists. Okay. So I love the shop in London. It's called Ash. I get Ash tackies from there. And we're going to London, and my husband said, we're not shopping. Best to order those shoes online and get them delivered. So I thought, fine. That's the only way I'm going to get the shoes. I'll get them ordered and delivered. Anyway, my husband has a cousin who lives in London. We take the kids to what's it called, Madame Tussauds, and it's Baker Street. And then his cousin comes and meets us. And we're just aimlessly following him to this amazing restaurant he wants to take us to. So we're following like little ducks. He's leading the way, crossing the road, getting to the restaurant. I look to my left. Guess what shop is right there? The ash shop. So I said to my husband, what you resist persists. Look where we are. I'm going shopping. So that is what I'm saying with COVID. It's like, just go with the flow. You can't resist what has happened. You can choose what you want to do. Some changes you'll think, no, that's not for me. I'm not ready for that. I'm not going to do that. And others, you know what? You just got to say, okay, I can't fight this. Let me just go with it, do what I need to do, and yeah, make changes. So that is, my story. And if anyone wants any info on anything, any phone numbers, anything, they can go to my website, and it's all there.
Thanks so much, Laura. I definitely found it, your story again. I think this must be the fourth time I'm chatting to you or hearing it. But every time there's something else that one can take out of it from a learning for ourselves and our families. So one of the questions that was raised on the chat is that when someone gets diagnosed with cancer and has to go for chemo, is there any advice you can give them, and what can they expect?
Okay, so don't go to chemo on your own. You've got to have someone to take you, because firstly, you can't drive home afterwards. And, I thought maybe I'd do like a roster where like different friends would take me on different days. But you go sit and have bloods. Then bloods have to be tested. Then you've got to see your doctor. Anyway, I couldn't sit with friends. Like my friends had to go fetch their kids from school. So like my friends couldn't sit with me all morning. So my mom took me to chemo, and that became our thing. She fetched me, we went to chemo, did my bloods, went to go get something to eat, and she sat with me and brought me home. And that was our time. So definitely, they call it a chemo buddy. Have a chemo buddy, and also someone that you're comfortable with. And also I thought it was better for my husband to also go to work. Otherwise he's sitting on his laptop and he, stressed, and it's not like a 2-minute thing. Like it takes time. So you need your chemo buddy, someone that is reliable that can take you. And my advice is, just do whatever makes you feel good. So if you need to sit and cry all day, and sit and cry all day, you got to do that. If you decide you feel like donuts, get someone to bring you donuts and eat donuts. But reach out to people and say to them what you want. This is your time for people to do something for you. So reach out to people because they want to help you. People want to do something. It makes them feel better to know that they're doing something for you. So you're actually helping them to help you. So tell people to bring you cake and donuts or whatever you want. And just go with the flow. Just don't fight the feelings and the emotions and everything that comes up. You've got to feel it to move forward. You've got to sit with it and feel it.
So what you're saying is really helpful, because one of the other questions that I had was that how do you as a person on the side, really watching a person going through it, you always do want to help, but you don't want to, because a lot of people don't like taking help, because like even you said, as a giver, it was hard to ask for things. So you actually even need to learn how to ask for help, and people don't want to make it worse. So, that kind of suggestion is also great, just to actually, as a person that wants to provide support, to say, listen, shut, or just do something that you think the person will appreciate.
One better, actually, my husband says, he says, don't ask, just do.
Yeah.
So if you want to do something for someone, don't even ask them. Just do it. Go get a dozen donuts and take it to their house and say, here's donuts. You can say, do you want me to have one with you, or should I go? Like that.
Yeah.
But just do. If you want to do something for someone, do it. They will appreciate it, I promise you.
Just even when you were saying about your chemo, it definitely seems, and you did mention when you were talking, that it takes a while to learn how to be positive. But even in that, going to chemo, you found the positive, that it was a time where your mom and you could be together. But I do, and you did say it as well, is that you had your few bad days. How did you make sure, or how did you get over the bad days so that didn't actually suck you in, that you get stuck for days or weeks in that bad situation?
So I'll tell you a typical bad day. I phone my healer, Bev Kaplan, Skeeter 1. Bev, I'm having a meltdown. And she'd be like, okay, we'd have a chat and she'd maybe talk me through a few things. But I remember like one Saturday in particular, friends of ours were actually immigrating. And I said to my husband, I can't. I said, take the kids and just go. I sat and I cried the entire day. And I knew it was a form of releasing. Crying is releasing. It's good to cry. You've got to get it all out. Like, again, if you don't get it out, then it's going to just sit and manifest. So get it out, cry it out. But I always told myself, it's fine, I've had a bad day, but tomorrow's got to be a better day. So I didn't allow one bad day to go into the next, I said, okay, it's been a bad day, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And again, I say, thank God for my kids, because I had to get up, put on my wig, draw on my eyebrows, and take them to school. You know, so one bad day couldn't go into another bad day. And again, I just thought, no, I can't. My kids can see me cry for one day because mommy's having a bad day, but my kids can't see mommy crying week after week after week. I just couldn't do that. So find your strength. Like I said, mine was my kids. I just wanted to protect them. So, yeah, that's it.
And I think that's also another example of how children, even though we believe that we teach children, I think children teach us a lot as well.
Definitely.
And yeah, make us very strong, because we have to be.
Yeah.
So one of the other questions that's been posed is that with regards to the TRE, what else would you recommend? You know, so not obviously used for your cancer, but you did mention that it could get rid of other trauma. So is there anything else specifically that it could be used as a treatment for, and like emotional issues and things like that?
I'm so glad you actually asked that, because I've actually realized that's a part that actually left out of my talk. So basically, TRE is used for anything, anyone. So what TRE does is it takes any person, because I had cancer, but I've got a friend I know she suffers with her neck. She doesn't just suffer with her neck, she's got a sore neck. There's underlying issues, and she knows. I mean, we've discussed a few things. So basically what TRE, and she's done TRE. So what TRE does is it takes the body out of freeze mode to the other extreme, where you think, oh my God, who am I? This can't be happening. Like, why am I behaving like this? But then the body comes to the middle and finds a middle ground that is workable and acceptable for you. So we're all individuals. Like I've always been very spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person. For me, seeing Bev, my spiritual healer, I mean, to this day, I see Bev and I see Jenny. I see both of them. They each have their place for me. They both help me in the ways that I need. So if you're like I said, also like Bev, my spiritual healer was also like my friend and my psychologist, you know. But the TRE, there's no one that doesn't need TRE, because what TRE does is also it calms down your nervous system. So no matter what you're going through, if you've got a calm nervous system, then you can tackle things that come about, like COVID or anything. You know, with a calm nervous system, you can tackle whatever's going to come your way. And that's everyone's personal journey. So if anyone says, should I do TRE? Yes. You know, do it. For anyone.
Yeah, and I think all of us got stress, and you've got so many people now. Mental health is a huge condition that's on the uprise, probably in line with oncology. So to have that kind of support that reduces the stress on your nervous system probably will address a lot of that anxiety and all of that. Kids facing exams, probably a good thing for that even.
So my son TRE on that note. Kids can do it too. It's amazing for kids.
Yeah.
Really calms down their nervous system. kids with ADHD. It's amazing.
Okay. So that obviously answers that question, that it's not just specifically to a certain condition. It can be used across various kind of emotional as well as physical, addressing those conditions. So, I mean, I think my biggest takeaway from being with you is that whilst the physical healing is what needs to happen, the most important part is really the mental healing. It's keeping yourself positive, even when those dark days come, so that you can get out of it. You also, if you get caught up in that negativity, you actually aren't able to find solutions or push yourself to reach, overcome the obstacles that you're facing. I mean, do you agree that positiveness is what helped you sort of navigate and come out of the other side of your journey that you've gone through better off? So really actually fulfilling that your healer said to you, that you'll look back and say, this is actually something that was a blessing to you.
No, definitely I needed to heal on every level. I knew I was so busy being a people pleaser and running circles around everyone that I forgot who I was. And I lost track of what actually helps me and makes me happy, because I'm so busy being a mom and a wife and this one's friend and that one's friend. I promise you, if someone couldn't find parking at the school, they'd phone me to bring their child to the car. I'm like, okay, why phoning me? So I was definitely, not happy being that. I didn't want to be that person for everyone. So, what was I going to say? And then also from a very young age, like I've always been spiritual. I remember reading Louise Hay, her book, You Can Heal Your Life. It's all about positive affirmation. And the way positive affirmation works, I mean, I'd spend days like literally saying the same thing to myself. I'm well, I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm healthy. To the point where you believe it. You believe it to be true because you raise your vibration to that level. If you believe, it's like a compulsive liar will eventually believe that their lies are true. So it's the same as positive affirmation. You keep telling yourself, and energy flows where attention goes. So if you're thinking negative, it's just everything's going to spiral into like this negative. Whereas if you're feeling positive, saying positive, thinking, feeling, you raise your vibration. And what is the universe going to give you? The positivity you need. So, even if you don't believe it to be true at the beginning, carry on being positive and saying positive affirmations, because you will believe it eventually.
And again, just from Safin, just to say thank you to everybody that joined us today. And again, to you, Lara, it's something hugely personal and emotional. And the fact that you can, be here and share your story to make it easier for others we're really grateful.